But Matt Canavan, like you'll know this, right? There will be places in Queensland, as an example, where at the state and federal level, an LNP candidate will win by a country mile, no question. But once you get down to the local government area, because either party affiliation doesn't exist or the effort's not down there, you end up with a faux Greens mayor. And I've always found that quite strange when we're travelling around. You go, well, hang on, who's the mayor? Who's the councillor? And it'll be the most out there person in the world who is the local representative in an area at the next two levels that wouldn't even stomach some of the rubbish these people serve up.
Well, what's happened here, Paul, is large philanthropic, often funds from the US have come to Australia and tried to take over local politics. So a lot of those candidates you're talking to are funded by these environmental organisations from the US. They're very savvy. Those candidates typically don't stand on a Greens platform, so to speak. They don't reveal their green clothing before. They're a bit of a kiwi fruit, right? At the election, they're nice and fuzzy on the outside, and then afterwards, when you get elected, you cut them open, and they're surprise, surprise, radical Greens. And that's how they've been able to overtake local government. Often these groups do focus on elections and campaigns which don't require a large amount of money and resources, like local government, because they can have the bigger bang for their buck here. They can't do much in the US, these groups, because the US is so expensive to do politics, so they come here. And that's a real problem for our democracy. That's why we've passed laws to try and crack down on foreign funding. I do think we need to have a harder look at what happens at the local government level.
Well, absolutely. And this is the thing where, again, I talk about this because it's a level of government that nobody talks about on television, but Bronwyn, they're all in a position to decide what gets built, not built, approved, not approved, to then go and challenge anything that is common sense, to drag it all the way down, or they turn around and just go, oh, well, yeah, another block of units there because they multiply rates and they can fund their little efforts. And generally speaking, look, as much as I love a local paper, the only people that are really invested, it's a very small section of the population. Instead, you wake up and 10 years later, what you thought everyone took for granted is taken away.
Exactly, which is why we got the situation in the area where I live, my old electorate, where the local mayor and the people who support him decided they were going to build a statue to the coronavirus.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's right. It's more than $1 million, isn't it?
Well, yes, up to $1 million. And but there was such an outcry that they said that they would rescind that, but they can't do that yet, so they may try and still do it.
How? What would it look like?
Is this a statue of somebody just lying on the couch watching Netflix? Is that the commemoration?
Well, this is what I don't know what it is. I mean, what sort of sculpture? I mean, does anyone want that microscopic thing with all of the stuff? I think not.